Live now to Perth, and we're talking to the Finance Minister, Matthias Cormann, of course, ahead of Parliament, the 45th Parliament convening for the first time next week. Minister, thanks for your time this morning on Sky News. I'll start, if I can, with what's happening over in your state. WA leadership, Colin Barnett, had this poll that was done by apparently private businessmen that showed that 10 out of 11 seats that polled would mean they would lose these seats, the Liberal Party, if he stays on as leader. This seems to be a long-running destabilisation process against Colin Barnett.
Well, you know, the leadership of the WA Liberal Party is obviously a matter for the state parliamentary Liberal Party here in Western Australia. What I would say, though, as a citizen of this great state, is that, you know, in my mind, Colin Barnett clearly remains by far the best person in the Parliament to lead our state. So, you know, this government has been in place now for about 8 years. They've been doing a very good job. They're now approaching the next election in March, and it's going to be very important to put forward a very strong plan for the next 4 years to be successful in March.
Is that a message then for Dean Nalder, the Transport Minister? He hasn't been overwhelming in his support, and reports he could have had something to do with this polling.
Look, I'm not going to give public advice to colleagues, you know, except to say that there's absolutely no doubt in my mind that Colin Barnett is the best by far in the state parliament to continue to lead our state.
OK, well, back in your area then, a key speech by Scott Morrison, the Treasurer, yesterday. He spoke about the reason for deficits in your time in government and the Coalition's time, essentially down to revenue, below expected revenue. He called it an earnings problem. It sounded a lot like an echo of Wayne Swan in his late years as Treasurer.
Well, I think there's been a bit of misinterpretation there. I mean, the point that Scott has made is that if you want to earn more, you need to strengthen economic growth. You know, the Labor prescription of increasing the tax burden in the economy would actually damage economic growth, damage investment, damage growth, and as such would not help us to improve our earnings. Now, you know, we inherited a very bad spending growth trajectory from Labor. The spending growth trajectory we inherited from Labor was unsustainable and unaffordable. We've made some progress in putting that on a more sustainable foundation for the future, but there is some more work to do. And
but
it
was very
the Treasurer.
Sorry, Minister, but it was very clearly said that this was always going to be a spending an issue, not a revenue problem. That was spelled out so clearly by Scott Morrison, by Joe Hockey. Now they're saying, well, we do need to earn more money. That's still revenue, however you do it.
Well, we actually have said this consistently all the way through, and remember, I've been there for the whole 3-year period. Yes, we inherited a serious spending problem from the previous government, which put our spending growth trajectory on an unsustainable trajectory which was not affordable from the economy, out of the economy. But we've also always said that, you know, clearly falls in our terms of trade, significant falls in the global prices we were able to achieve from key commodity exports like iron ore, which was going to happen irrespective of who was the government, clearly had an impact on our revenue, clearly had an impact throughout the economy. Our economy continues to grow comparatively strongly at 3.1%, stronger than when we came into government, stronger than any of the G7 economies. But if we want to achieve stronger revenue flows the right way, the way to achieve it is by putting in place the policy settings that strengthen growth, strengthen investment and strengthen job creation. And that is what we've said all the way through the election campaign. And that is, of course, the plan that we intend to continue to implement in this term, our National Economic Plan for Jobs and Growth. It will seek to deliver increased prosperity as well as increased revenue flows for government. It's always been part of the plan.
OK, just one other issue, because Labor's really tough on its language, it seems, on the same-sex marriage plebiscite, indicating it might not give its support to have that mechanism pass through Parliament. If this doesn't get up, is this the end of same-sex marriage in this term? Would the government consider any other course of action?
You know, our commitment to the Australian people was very clear. It was explicit in black and white. We will put this issue to a vote by the Australian people. We will give the Australian people the opportunity to pass judgment on this issue, to resolve it once and for all. This has come before the Australian Parliament on a number of occasions now, and the Australian Parliament on each occasion has reconfirmed the current definition of marriage. We went to the election with a very clear commitment, and you know, we will be putting that to the Parliament and we would be saying to the Parliament that this is something that needs to be done.
So very briefly then, there's no other avenue. If this doesn't succeed in the Parliament, it won't be pursued in any other way in this Parliament?
Well, our commitment to the Australian people is what we will deliver on.
OK, Finance Minister Matthias Cormann, we are out of time, but thank you for your time this morning on Sky News.
Always good to talk to you.